Youcat, question number 326. When does an authority act legitimately? An authority acts legitimately when it works for the sake of the common good and applies just methods of attaining the goals thereof. The people in a state must be able to rely on the fact that they live under a government of laws, which has rules that are binding for all. No one is obliged to obey laws that are arbitrary and unjust or that contradict the natural moral order. In that case, there is a right, or in some circumstances, even the duty to resist. The common good. The common good is the good that is shared by all in common. It includes the sum total of social conditions which allow people, either as groups or as individuals, to reach their fulfillment more fully and more easily, says Gaudium Express. Question number 327. How can the common good be promoted? The common good follows wherever the fundamental rights of the person are respected, and men can freely develop their intellectual and religious potential. The common good implies that men can live in society with freedom, peace, and security. In an age of globalization, the common good must also acquire a worldwide scope and allow for the rights and duties of all humankind. The common good is best served where the good of the individual person and of the smaller units of society, for instance the family, is central. The individual and the smaller social unit need to be protected and promoted by the stronger power of state institutions. Acts of the Apostles chapter 5 verse 29 would say, we must obey God rather than men. Question number 328. What can the individual contribute to the common good? Working for the common good means assuming responsibility for others. The common good must be the business of everyone. This happens, first of all, when men get involved in their particular surroundings, family, neighborhood, workplace, and take responsibility. It is important that all to exercise social and political responsibility. Someone who assumes this sort of responsibility, however, wields power and is always in danger of misusing that power. Therefore, everyone in a position of responsibility is called upon to engage in an ongoing process of conversion, so that he can exercise that responsibility for others in lasting justice and charity. Question number 329. How does social justice come about in a society? Social justice comes about where the inalienable dignity of every person is respected and the resulting rights are safeguarded and championed without reservation. Among these is also the right to active participation in the political, economical, and cultural life of the society. The basis of all justice is respect for the inalienable dignity of the human person, whose defense and promotion have been entrusted to us by the Creator, and whom the men and women at every moment of history are strictly and responsibly in debt, says Pope John Paul II. Human rights are an immediate consequence of human dignity, and no state can abolish or change them. States and authorities that trample these rights underfoot are unjust regimes and lose their authority. A society is not perfected by laws, however, but rather by love of neighbor, which means it possible for everyone to look upon his neighbor without any exception as another self. Question number 330. All men are equal in God's sight insofar as all have the same Creator. All were created in the same image of God with a rational soul, and all have the same Redeemer. Because all men are equal in God's sight, every person possesses the same dignity and has a claim to the same human rights. Hence, every kind of social, racist, sexist, cultural, or religious discrimination against a person is an unacceptable injustice. St. Catherine of Siena would say, God says, I have willed that one should need another, and that all should be my ministers in distributing the graces and gifts they have received from me. C.S. Lewis would say, nothing that you have not given away will be really yours. The Gospel of Luke chapter 3 verse 11 would say, he who has 2 coats, let him share with him who has none, and he who has food, let him do likewise. Pope Benedict XVI would say, the Creator has inscribed on our being the natural law, which is the reflection in our hearts of His plan for creation as the guide and inner standard for our life. John Paul II said, no one can claim as Cain did that he is not responsible for the fate of his brother. Saint John Marie Vianney would say, respect the good reputation of your enemies. Gospel of Matthew 25:40 would say, as you did it to the one of the least of these my brethren, you did it to me. Second Vatican Council would say, all men and women are to deal with their fellows in justice and civility. God bless you all.